So what actually works well to raise glutathione levels in a human being? We've seen that oral glutathione is not an efficient way to raise glutathione levels. Glutathione, because it's produced by the cell by itself. So the way to raise glutathione is to provide the cell, as we mentioned before, with the precursors or building blocks so the cell can manufacture their own glutathione. The cell requires the specific nutrients to make glutathione. That's the bottom line. And there are currently only two medically accepted ways to do this. And this you look up in your PDR or your CPS, and if you're doctors, I'm sure you have a copy handy. And you'll find two substances listed as glutathione precursors: NAC, N-acetylcysteine, and undenatured whey protein isolate, otherwise known as Immunical. NAC is the go-to drug used by doctors worldwide to raise glutathione levels. It's a remarkably effective drug, and I use it in extreme conditions, for example, to treat an acetaminophen overdose. And finally, Immunical, an undenatured whey protein isolate, and interestingly, not a pharmaceutical. And as you would have learned from my last presentation, the richest source of natural glutathione precursors. Now, a closer look at NAC is warranted here. NAC is used universally around the world as a glutathione precursor. It literally has thousands of clinical studies published on it. It is the choice used by medical practitioners and by hospitals. And it's available by prescription and in certain countries as a supplement as well. But it has a few problems. Number one, it has what we call a short half-life, about 3 or 4 hours. So in order to keep glutathione levels continually high, it needs to be taken 3 or 4 times a day. And it has a taste and a smell that many people cannot tolerate. And so these side effects that it has, usually nausea, vomiting, cramps, and other symptoms, if you need to take it 3 or 4 times a day, well, you're going to feel 4 times the 4th time that you take it during the day. And it's also not recommended for long-term use because of the buildup of oxidized cysteine, which can develop into a situation called hypercystinemia, which is a pro-oxidant state, which is exactly what you were trying to avoid. So to recap, undenatured whey protein isolate, also known as Immunical, this has been the subject of over 40 years of clinical study. There's a wealth of available published research articles. It shows up in some of the major medical references in the world, and it has very little adverse effects. A single oral dose of Immunical can show results days after ingestion. So which of these to choose? Well, we've already pointed out some differences that could make up your mind, but let's take a deeper dive into the biochemistry and how these two differ. Okay, this will go by rather quickly. Let's look again at how a cell makes glutathione. Well, get some glutamate. Where? Well, whey will provide you with glutamate. NAC won't. Get some cysteine. Again, whey will provide a great source of cysteine. It will also provide you with cysteine in the form of bonded cysteine. NAC works by providing cysteine as well. But remember, only about 15% of the cysteine in NAC is protected from oxidation, which means that 85% is not protected and will become oxidized, and this is the reason it carries a degree of toxicity. Now, cysteine is combined with glutamate, and this forms the molecule gamma-glutamyl-cysteine. See it there? This step is carried out through the use of an enzyme called dipeptidase. This is the rate-limiting enzyme that produces gamma-glutamyl-cysteine. So here's an important difference. Even if dipeptidase is missing or in short supply, undenatured whey protein can directly supply gamma-glutamyl-cysteine. This is a major advantage of whey over NAC. Now, glycine must be added. Where to get glycine? Well, again, whey will give you glycine, but NAC won't. Another difference. And finally, the enzyme glutathione synthase is used, and the final step is the production of glutathione. So you see, whey protein isolate fills in many more of these steps than NAC. Critical. But wait, the difference continues between these two. Whey contains all of the essential amino acids needed by humans. NAC provides none of them. None of them. So to quickly summarize the difference between the two, both of them raise glutathione. NAC has a short half-life of 3 to 4 hours. Immunocal is effective for days. NAC has side effects. Side effects are minimal and rare for whey proteins like Immunocal. NAC is a great and effective drug used worldwide. Immunocal not only raises glutathione, but here's a major point. Whey protein is a superior source of nutrition. In fact, it has the highest biological value of any known edible protein. Let's look at what we mean by this. What is biological value? It's a measurement of how valuable a protein is to your general metabolism. Clearly, different proteins differ in their value to your general nutrition. Eating a hot dog will not provide you with the same value than eating a nice piece of fresh salmon. And these biological values, these BVs, can be quantified. Here we see a list of different BVs from different protein sources, and we see that whey protein isolates have absolutely the highest value. So Immunocal has the highest biological value of any edible protein. Immunocal contains all of the essential amino acids needed by man. NAC only contains cysteine. For me, the choice is clear.